Hey, you ever met somebody and things are going great? You start feeling all those warm and fuzzies inside. And then you begin to truly think about contemplating your future and you want to know, you know what, are we really compatible for the long term, the long haul? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you 7 signs that the truth is you're not compatible. All right, stay tuned. Hey, I'm Coach Ken, I'm back. Listen, I help people navigate the complexities of modern day relationships so that they can live a life of abundance. Yeah, we're talking about signs you're not compatible. And I want you to hear me closely because a lot of people do it incorrectly. And I talk about dating and I teach people how to date, and I've had such a high success rate because my methodology is different than most dating coaches. My methodology revolves around one simple technique. It's not simple, but it's not necessarily easy. It's called the 2C methodology. 2C methodology. First, it's about collecting, then connecting. All right? Collecting, then connecting. What do I mean by that? The first thing is I help people collect enough data to understand, to know if we should be connecting. We should go to the next level. And so part of that, in these 7 things, I actually talk to them, show them how to find out in the collection phase. Number 1, how do you know we are not compatible? And just beyond the emotions, just beyond I feel so good when they're around, when all of that wears off, when all of the honeymoon stages, when it's gone, what do we have? So number 1 is your future pacing or future projection. They call it future pacing or future projection aren't in alignment. What do I mean by that? So when you're contemplating whether or not I want to be with this person, you contemplate it first in your mind. This is called future pacing. You begin to think about the future and you see this person in it. Now, when you think about the future, do the visions that both of you have align? Do you see the same things as it pertains to family, as it pertains to children, as it pertains to your home ownership, your finances? All of those things, are they in alignment? If they are not in alignment and you think that I can change them or I can change what you believe or what you desire, you don't want to think that because that ain't happening. You never marry someone on potential. But I digress. That's 1. All right, number 2, your core values are not in alignment. Now, what do I mean? When I coach people, I ask them, explain to me what your core values are. And many of them think I'm talking Japanese. They think I'm saying things like trust. Okay, that's a core value. Okay, I want them to trust. But I'm talking about, let's go deeper than that. And so my wife and I wrote a book called The Canion Culture, Creating Relationships That Last. And in this book, we talk about core values. For instance, one of my core values is I have to be with someone who allows me to be myself, true to myself. That's a core value. That's something I hold dear. A core value is more or less the thing at your core that you hold true to. All right. And if I can't be with someone who allows me to be myself, then I can't be with them. And that's what my wife did it for herself. I did it, and we did it as a couple. And we realized that our core values lined up. That doesn't mean that everything that you believe, they believe, or everything that you want, they want. No, it simply means that the meaningful things, the things that you build your life around, the things that are non-negotiable are similar. And that's why I tell people say that whole thing about opposites attract. The truth is, similarities keep you together. Now, what they get confused with is I am opposite. My personality is opposite from my wife's. I'm loud. I'm obnoxious. She's more quiet and subdued sometimes. Yeah, we have personality differences. However, our core values are in alignment. We see finances the same way. We see raising children the same way. We see discipline the same way. And we see striving for our goals the same way, which means we're in alignment. If your core values are not in alignment, you're not compatible. Number 3, your relationship goals are incongruent. If you're looking to get married in 2 years and the other person is like, yo, let's just kick it. Let's just see what happens. You know what? Let's just go with the flow. Let's not put a title on it. Let's do all of that. Then, see, the reason why this is important is because there's nothing wrong with the other person having relationship goals. And their relationship goal might be, I just want to say single. If that's their relationship goal, then yours, if yours is incongruent, it's equal or on the same plane of you wanting to be single, then they're in alignment. If yours is, I want to be married, and theirs is, I want to be single, it is not congruent. It is not. And you got to think about that. And because more than likely, you're not compatible. You might have everything else in alignment. But if those things are not in alignment, it's not going to work. Number 4. Oh, this is big. Y'all, this is huge. You're not willing to meet their top emotional needs. There's a book that I read called His Needs, Her Needs. Great book. I've read it 3 times. And in the book, the author talks about their 10 emotional needs that people have. For instance, one might be affection, sexual fulfillment, financial stability, domestic support, recreational companionship. Those are just 5 of them, right? And what I get my people to do is I get them to write down their top 5, or then I break it down to top 3 emotional needs, right? So my emotional need might be sexual fulfillment, financial stability, and recreational companionship, right? Hers might be affection, conversation, and domestic support, whatever, all right? However, they may not be in alignment in terms of my first 3, her first 3, but what needs to be in alignment is this, is when you get in a serious relationship, what you are agreeing to, it's an unwritten contract. You are agreeing that I'm going to attempt to meet your emotional needs. If my emotional need is sexual fulfillment and you give me sex once a month, then what you're doing is essentially not meeting my needs, not honoring this unwritten contract. Y'all, and that's the quickest way for a relationship to dissolve. If the person is unwilling to meet your needs. Now, I'm not saying that a person have to be at your beck and call. No, I'm saying they just have a willingness to meet your needs. My wife, I may not want to talk all the time, but she has a need for conversation. So what I do, sometimes I sit down and watch a reality show and I don't even like the shit, right? But why? Because she wants to talk. She wants to talk when she gets home from work. I'm here to talk to her, not every day, but I've got to be willing to make a concerted effort to be conscious about meeting that need. Number 5, lack of common interests. Look, self-explanatory. If y'all ain't got shit in common, it ain't gonna work. All right, I'm just being real with you. I'm just being honest with you. If you can't do anything together, no recreational activities, anything like that, then at the end of the day, it's not going to work. 6, you're not speaking, not willing to speak in their love language. Again, there's a book called The 5 Love Languages. Beautiful book, awesome book. And the book talks about each one of us has a language that when the person does a particular thing for us, we believe we're loved. Some people, it's quality time. When I spend quality time with you, you believe you're loved. Some people, it's physical touch. When I touch you, when I'm around you, when I'm hugging you, embracing you, you feel loved. There are 3 more, right? And I don't need to go into them here. I suggest you get that book. But when you're willing to speak in their language, they know they're loved. This is so important. Here's why it's important. Because if my love language is physical touch, right? And your love, and my wife's love language is quality time. But I always want to touch her, hold on to her, and all of that because I like physical touch, right? And I think that I'm speaking in her love language. But the truth is, I'm speaking to her in my love language. And there's a test out there that shows your love language, but I need to speak to her in her love language. I got to be willing to communicate, and speaking to her in her love language is quality time. So what do I have to do? I've got to start spending quality time so that she believes, she knows that I love her. And last but not least, signs of the 7 signs you're not compatible, your sex desires are different. We're all sexual creatures. And I'm not saying some people like it a lot, some people like it a little. But when it comes to sex, if your sex desires are that, and I'm stumbling over my words because I'm thinking about sex, but your sex desires are that different, then you're probably not compatible because listen, y'all, we are sexual beings. God made us that way so that we would procreate. But if you want it once a month and I want it 20 times a month, that's incompatibility. And I doubt very seriously if it works. All right, there you have it. 7 signs you and him are not compatible. I'm Coach Ken, and I'm out.